Hey, this is the World Advice Channel 2. What I want to talk about today is the problem with Renaldo Gouws. Now, for anyone who follows South Africa, when it comes to the political state that it is in right now, I am certain everyone who has actually followed South Africa for that matter, at least for the most part, mostly, if not, as I was getting at before, all have heard of Renaldo Gouws. He's a very outspoken person, of course, of white South African descent, who talks about the issues that is going on in the nation. And even though a lot of the things he says is true, there's also some problems with what he says. And that's what I'll be covering for this video. So now that I've mentioned that, let's get started. So when it comes to the problem with Renaldo Gouws, what is the problem with Renaldo Gouws? Well, the problem with him is simple. He doesn't confront the issues or to say the problems that the white South Africans, at least the bad ones, do, for that matter. He doesn't confront the issue that a lot of white South Africans, the Afrikaners, as they call themselves, do. And he just spends his time just focusing mainly on criticizing the black people, okay? He doesn't, which of course is problematic because even though I know a lot being a black person myself, I'm not even gonna front though. A lot of black people do some real dumb shit, especially when it comes to things that is actually significant and important and actually friggin' matter, like whether it could be hosting an event where people are going to be showing up, to even positions of power in the government, no surprise, yada, 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 and all that type of stuff. But at the same time, I have to say the truth, which I think everyone who's enlightened would have kind of already know, especially when you look at the state of the world as it is today. There's also the fact that other people of other groups can also do stupid shit that can also fuck things up, such as the fact that we have global warming. It hasn't been resolved. It could have been resolved if people took the right precautions, and it's already been pretty much predetermined that our world is pretty much fucked and we only have like 100 years on this planet left for this planet, more like, until our planet is just completely screwed up and and we're gonna have to pretty much go somewhere else. That's the simple truth, okay? And that absolutely, at its core, has absolutely nothing to do with black people, okay? So my point is that anyone can fuck things up. And when it comes to the situation in South Africa, it is no different, okay? Because even though his videos are entertaining, I remember I used to watch a lot of them, specifically in the late 2000s and stuff, and he does confront a lot of the bullshit in the government from, the person who was once president, who he loved to terrorize, Jacob Zuma. Oh my gosh, this was years ago. To, of course, his hatred for Julius Malema. A lot of that stuff is entertaining and quite enjoyable to watch, especially for something that's actually meant to be political. Um, to be honest with you. But the problem with him is that he doesn't, like I was getting at before, confront the things the white people are doing. Such as, for example, the best example would be the white farm murders, because there's a lot of white farmers who get murdered in South Africa, and the reason why they get murdered, you want to know the real reason why, is because they don't treat the black workers that work for them very well. They treat them poorly. They don't treat them well, and they treat them like absolute shit. And that is the reason why a lot of them get murdered, in all honesty. Specifically, since it's already known fact that a lot of the people who tend to be these black farm workers are people who actually, in a lot of cases, recognize some of the white people that they are working for, because a lot of them were actually officers or soldiers, whatever, who worked in apartheid and were attacking the black population and so on and so forth, for obviously fighting for the end of apartheid. So that's a big problem that obviously that has been going on, is the reason why so many of them get murdered, and not just get murdered, have their family members murdered for that matter, okay? And that's the truth about it. He doesn't talk about that. What about all the racism in South Africa in general, for that matter? South Africa, in general, from the white population, like they have towns where they don't let black people in. There has been separatist movements that have been focused on how can we break away from South Africa and stuff and create a white homeland, and stuff. Why don't you hear him talk about that? And that's what I'm trying to say though. And I'm not trying to hate on the guy because overall the guy is an intelligent guy and he's made good videos to be fair though. But at the same time, I've also actually just realized that's definitely something of a double standard. I just haven't heard any good videos or any good topics discussing the the white people who cause problems. Because a lot of white people in South Africa, let's keep it real, do fucking fuck things up and cause problems and screw things up too. Why does he talk about them? And I just feel he needs to talk more about them because they are also problematic. But even aside from that, the main point is that that's a problem with his message, okay? Because if you have a message and you're talking about how things suck in a place, you have to cover both sides of the story, not just one side, which of course predominantly is the black side. You have to cover the both sides. And the truth of the matter is the situation is more complicated than that, okay? It's not just simply the black people just who in the government are just doing a piss poor job. It's also the fact that a lot of the white people are also doing things just to kind of cause problems, and fuck things up. Especially when you take into consideration a lot of the people who did all the evil shit during apartheid were not brought to justice. And that's exactly what I'm trying to get across here. And that's exactly what I mean when it comes to the message I'm getting across here. So that's pretty much what I have to say about it, about his videos. So that's the problem with his videos, okay? And if he were to maybe, for example, work on that, then I wouldn't have an issue. But ultimately, that's a problem with the situation. So that's the first main thing I want to get across. Now, of course, let's get to the main message of the video. So what exactly is the main message of the video? The main message of the video, if there's any main message of this video out there to get across, it is simply down to the fact that us black people, on the real though, no lie, and I'm not trying to be an Uncle Tom here or anything like that. Like, in all honesty though, we're gonna have to really do better. Because a lot of our people do this type of shit. They're not organized. They they run up and down all over the place when it comes to planning for things, or they don't show up on time when they're supposed to do things, and all these things, even on a ground level, screw things up when it comes to business, let alone for running a nation. And if you run a nation, when it comes to different issues that a nation has, such as obviously making sure all the things are maintained, like make sure the electric grid is maintained, making sure that obviously there's enough food to go around for everyone, making sure that the infrastructure of the buildings is maintained, you have to be organized. You have to plan in advance for things, not just wait till last minute and something happens and then say, oh, now we're going to do something now. And that's not even mentioning the fact as well, that you have to keep in mind that a lot of that you also have to as well, of course, realize that a lot of people, of course, no surprise, I mean, have to show up on time to things. If you have an issue that's going on and you're showing up like an hour plus late, which I know a lot of black people do, then how are you going to make sure on a national level you're going to get things run? Let's just say there's electrical problem, and that is what my issue is with the black community, because I know we could do good. I know we could do better. A lot of the things that's actually holding us back is so freaking simple to stop doing. And that is the truth of the matter. Most of these issues we have as a black community that's holding us back is just simply backwards behaviors. And if we were to stop doing these things, I can guarantee you, absolutely no ifs, ands, or buts, guarantee you, we would see success. So we don't have to, you know, rely on hearing other people's critiques or opinions and so on and so forth about us, or rely on a white person like Renaldo Gouws to point out these things. We can figure out things on our own, in honesty. But that's the truth of the matter. And it's not even just South Africa. This is the problem throughout every black run nation. It's the same thing literally everywhere, whether it's the Caribbean, or of course, no surprise, in Africa, or even the different communities that are black in non black nations like Canada, America, Brazil, and so on and so forth. It's the same thing everywhere. And that's exactly what we need to do. We need to be organized. We need to stop this bullshit. And in general, to sum it up, we need to cut out these bad behaviors. And if we do, we'll succeed. Because as South Africa, as I'm using South Africa as an example, this case is already well built up. It has good infrastructure and so on and so forth. All that needs to be done is for people to be organized. And that is the truth of the matter, and just in general, for that matter, get rid of these bad habits that is holding our black people back. And that is what I have to say. So anyway, this is my video. I hope you enjoyed it. And just remember, if you like this video and videos like this, remember to thumbs this video up and hit the subscribe button. And this is all I have to say, and simply put on out. So bye.